From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Monday, August the 12th, 2019. Two Palestinian terrorists who allegedly carried out the murder of 18-year-old Dvir Sorek last week were found and arrested this weekend by Israeli security forces. Cousins 24-year-old Nasir Asafra and 30-year-old Qasem Asafra were awoken from their beds in the middle of the night Saturday in the Palestinian village of Beit Kahil in the southern West Ridge or West Bank by IDF troops. And today, IDF troops took the first steps in preparation of their home's demolition. There were several armed infiltration attempts over the weekend from Gaza into Israel. 4 armed Palestinians tried to breach the Gaza fence on Saturday, each armed with AK-47 assault rifles with extra magazines, an RPG grenade launcher, and grenades. One of them crossed the fence and shot at and threw a grenade at Israeli troops, who returned fire, killing the 4 terrorists. Yesterday, a Palestinian also armed with an AK-47 opened fire at Israeli troops while again trying to breach the fence. IDF troops returned fire and the terrorist there was killed. Clashes broke out between Muslim protesters and Israel police on Jerusalem's Temple Mount yesterday, which marked the start of the Islamic holiday of Eid al-Adha and the Jewish fast day of Teisha Bader. Entrance to the holy site was very limited after a police assessment, with it closed to non-Muslims except for a small group of Jewish worshippers that was allowed in, but left quickly after chairs and other objects were thrown at them. Israel police used riot control means to disperse the rioters. A resident of Las Vegas was arrested on Thursday for allegedly planning to attack a synagogue in the city. Police found explosive materials in the home of a 23-year-old male who belonged to a neo-Nazi white supremacist group. Jewish Agency Chairman Isaac Herzog said in response to the arrest, all anti-Semitism and xenophobia should be uprooted at each and every site throughout the world. Well, Democrats and Republicans from the U.S. House of Representatives came together yesterday in Jerusalem for a joint press conference. House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, who is leading the 41 Democratic lawmakers, whom we reported to you arrived in Israel at the beginning of last week, and Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, who is leading 31 Republican lawmakers, who arrived in Israel at the end of the week. Reporters asked the leaders to respond to a report from Axios on Saturday that claimed that President Donald Trump told advisors that Israel should bar Representatives Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar from entering Israel when they hold their own visit to the region. The White House denied that report, calling it fake news. McCarthy said he was not aware of any such sentiment from the president and expressed his support for the freshman Congresswoman to visit. He said anyone who comes with open ears, open eyes, and an open mind will walk away with understanding, just as all these members here do. I think all should come. Police in Lakewood, New Jersey are investigating several reports of vandalism there as hate crimes. ABC News reports that as many as 100 tires were slashed in the predominantly Jewish Orthodox community over the last few days. And police said the cars were all owned or operated by Jewish residents. A Canadian newspaper has apologized for running a cartoon after backlash from the Jewish community. The Canadian Jewish News reports that the Edmonton Journal published the cartoon by Malcolm Mays about 2 weeks ago relating to a data breach at Capital One. The cartoon shows a data hacker with a beard and a large nose, similar to anti-Semitic caricatures of Jews. Jewish Federation of Edmonton President Stephen Schaefer said they were disgusted by the cartoon and the tacit approval by the paper. Pro-Israel advocacy group Honest Reporting Canada's Mike Fagelman said Mays has a track record of illustrating odious cartoons that have offended the Jewish community. The Journal apologized, saying any resemblance to anti-Jewish propaganda was unintentional. One of the founders of the conservative or Masorti movement of Judaism in Israel has died. Rabbi Reuben Hammer was past president of the International Rabbinical Assembly and served as head of the Masorti Religious Court, or Beit Din, in Israel. He also led the Israel programs of the Jewish Theological Seminary in Jerusalem and was founding director of the Seminary of Judaic Studies, now known as the Schechter Institute, whose current president, Rabbi David Galinkin, called Hammer a major leader and a pioneer. Reuben Hammer died today after a brief illness. He was 86 years old. Facebook COO Sheryl Sandberg is in Israel. She met today with President Reuven Rivlin in Jerusalem, thanking him on Facebook for a special meeting and for working to bring people in this beautiful country, she wrote, together. She also presented Rivlin with a pair of virtual reality goggles. He called Sandberg a source of inspiration for people all around the world. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Monday, August the 12th at 7 o'clock. It's The Wisdom of Dr. Ruth at 7:30, a JBS TV exclusive. Jewish leaders, including the U.S. State Department's Ilan Carr, take part in a panel discussion on the danger of anti-Semitism, both in the U.S. and abroad, from the Conference of Presidents of Major American Jewish Organizations at the UJA Federation in New York City. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with the founding director of Shurat Hadin, Nitzana Darshan-Leitner. At 10, Israeli author David Grossman discusses his novel, A Horse Walks into a Bar. And coming up right after this newscast, it's The Jewish World. And that's the JBS News Update for Monday, August the 12th, 2019. I'm Teisha Bader.